Facebook, it's at CBC Barbados, and at COVID Barbados. On WhatsApp, the number is 228-5562. We'll get started right after this break. Welcome back to COVID Queries, and we say good morning to Dr. Corey Forde. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your patience.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be back on. I've been not been on television for a while.
Yes.
Talking to so it's good to be back, and looking forward to some of the questions out there from the guests who are listening.
Yeah. Excellent. It's been just over a year since we recorded our first COVID-19 case in Barbados. And you've been on the job. You must be tired.
I used to be tired. I think I found many strategies to get past that particular point. I'm quite in a good space at this particular point. But I will tell you, as I always tell the public, look, at the end of this, I almost feel as though I can write a novel based on the sort of clinical cases we've had, how we've been the success stories. Some failure stories, but a few, and how we've been able to get through many of the challenges that we have, certainly at the country level, and of course at the national level in terms of the QEH, in terms of the hospital. And one of the things I just want to mention before I guess questions come is to say, look, all the isolation facilities from when we started, whether it be Enmore, Paragon, people often forgot we often were at Paragon. The facility at Black Mangala facility, Harrison's Point, and the 3 isolation hotels, they were all manned through our work, through the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And certainly the board of management there has given tremendous support to the chairman. I always say it's a great, smart individual who really put a lot of effort into making sure these facilities were run as appropriately the rest of at these facilities. I think one last thing I wanted to mention, I think one of the things that I think most Barbadians don't know about isolation facilities is that majority of these facilities are manned in terms of many specialties, whether it be housekeeping, for example, or whether certainly be the orderlies department, to some extent, nursing and the medical fraternity. A lot of them are very young physicians, very young persons who we practically took off from the community, trained and functioned. And I always say I'm very, very proud of many of these young people. I mean, in an era where one often finds challenges with young people and young persons in the community, I think that this has been, for me, a serious country success story in terms of that we've been able, during a major pandemic internationally, to train most of our young people who've come in, who are fresh, new, never even worked in the hospital system, through the support of the hospital and its management to function at the level that they have functioned. And I think more importantly, not to have massive outbreaks within our isolation facilities across the country. I knock on wood as I say that, but this is something I'm extremely proud about, and on the international stage, I think is significant.
Dr. Forde, I don't want to preempt your novel, but what are some of the major learnings as the pandemic has evolved?
I think one of the major learnings is be prepared. And I think one of the things that Barbados has done well at all levels. As I always tell people, look, we were preparing for this since December the previous year to the start. So by then we had all our personal protective equipment lined up. Notice Barbados didn't have a challenge with PPE, personal protective equipment, while the rest of the world was. I think, and this really comes through the bridges that were met through many international partners who would have warned me of what was coming down the line. So I think that was important. That's number one. Number two, I think the other thing that we learned is that we have a vibrant, youthful community of individuals who are ready to stand up for the country when the need arises. I think for me, that's a major success story. On the clinical aspect, resilience. So the resilience of Barbadians in fighting for their life, basically, in some cases in ICU, there are many success stories. I want to send kudos this morning to our ICU team, Dr. Hassel, Dr. Lovell, and that group, and Dr. George came in to help as well. I can't call all the names today, but they all know who they are, Dr. Clark, etc., Dr. Bell. And they came in to help in the system. But I think I really want to give kudos to the ICU team because of the challenges internationally where that was concerned. And we've been able in Barbados, and many countries have not been, to take people off a ventilator. It came that I saw a news article with this individual on television speaking. I would say that I feel good. I mean, I've been in the, I don't want to call the entity I was in, not the supermarket, but a hardware store, trying to get stuff for my garden, which I do on my downtime. And while there, was able to see one of the patients who actually came off the ventilator. And it was, for me, it was, like I said, I could write a novel. It was a very surreal situation. And they actually recognized me before I recognized them. And I remember his wife, she went on the ground and said, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, what is going on? But I think experiences like that as a physician are important. And I'm very happy when people get better. But of course, everyone does not. One of the other surreal situations, of course, as you well know, is one of the healthcare workers within the hospital system succumbed to COVID-19. And that was a huge challenge for us in the facility. And one of the things I had to do, certainly in terms of leadership on the facility, is try to continue to encourage individuals. And I turn the page now, as I continue the novel, to this particular part, which is important. And now we're at a different part or stage from where we were at, let's say, 2-3 months ago. And as I always tell Barbadians, we cannot at this point drop the baton in passing it from one stage to another. And I'm almost afraid that we will go straight back down the line if we don't. But we've been given a unique opportunity. We've been given a unique opportunity to, in terms of passing that baton, and that is in vaccinations, which is the next leg of things, which I think is another important aspect in this, and encourage Barbadians who haven't had vaccinations to proceed with that as soon as possible, because those are the things which are going to help us in the long run. And nobody on here, the other thing in the novel is a lockdown. Something I've never experienced in my lifetime, certainly. And I think the interesting thing is that I'm still a young physician, relatively, and I'm working with a bunch of young people, which I think is helpful, of course, in terms of getting them to function, understanding what's going on around in terms of the talk process. But as I did that, I think the last part for me, of course, is the sort of camaraderie. And if you talk about Harson's point, we operate like a family. I think I will share this with the public. I don't think you know about isolation facilities, and this particular part is important. And we operate as a family. We have done some very strange things recently. Me as a physician, nurses, doctors, administrators, Ms. Ingle Catero, who is the operations manager, the full team, we all came out to try to help with things on the ground. And we know the country is stressed and pressured. And we've got assistance from many different entities, clubs, organizations, and there are many other things I'll talk about later if given the opportunity that we're trying to do to improve things at the facility. But the staff came out to have 2 special occasions recently, and they were both painting occasions. So I'm not a painter, but I certainly learned how to paint. Some of the staff came some recently to extend painting into some of the quarters of the facilities, to put some ascent walls in, to create a new room where we're going to put some laundry equipment. It's already there. We're just going to in the process of setting up, and to paint the outer areas. And really, it's to improve the ambiance of the facility. Yes, it's a medical facility, this is a tertiary area, but still, it's still a hospital. Um, but one of the things I've learned through COVID is the impact of the psychological aspect of the patient admission is major. And if we can, in any way, create an environment where we can make them more comfortable, it's important. So we put some plants in, for example. Some simple, but patients taking care of plants is actually an important therapeutic aspect. Painting, like I said before. So many of the staff, doctors, nurses, orderlies, we all came in to help in these adventures. So there are many things that we're doing as a group, as a family, to try to improve the overall patient experience within the facility, whether it be our locals and whether, of course, it be our visitors, which is also important.
You mentioned preparation, the fact that Barbados was prepared. But for you personally, what in your professional training and experience really prepared you to undertake these responsibilities?
Right. I think that's a very good question. You just made me think, and I think from my experience internationally, I think really prepared me for this. And this is one of the things that I think is important. I think one of the things as a physician and tertiary infectious disease that I would have done is try to maintain these international. Had major contacts at CDC Atlanta, major contacts in World Health Organization direct in Geneva, major contacts at CARFA, the regional entities. We were able to discuss these sort of entities before they come. And I'm a part of
the internet seems to be acting up again.
Member of a board of Society of Healthcare.
Yeah, the internet is still presenting challenges. Dr. Forde, you are freezing.
And I think at that meeting was when we first discussed this sort of challenge.
There, we're still being plagued with.
Going to be and I brought that home back with me. I remember.
Well, we're still having challenges with the internet connection. We'll take a break here and come right back. We're back with COVID Queries. We're taking your questions and comments at CBC Barbados and at COVID Barbados, as well as via WhatsApp 228-5622. The guest this morning, we're trying through all the technical challenges, is Dr. Corey Forde, Head of Isolation Facilities. And you were telling us about the importance of your international contacts in assisting you with the management of facilities here in Barbados. You've also told us about some of the rewarding aspects of seeing patients recover, patients who had been on ventilators. What are some of the frustrating aspects of the job?
Something to Can you hear me? Can you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So some of the frustrating things To me, this is a good question. There are many, but I think people's response certainly to being in isolation, the most difficult persons to manage are actually the ones who are asymptomatic. Imagine that you feel well and someone tells you have to stay in a particular space. That's difficult, and it's something that I had to really walk many of the younger physicians through. I'm dealing with, because I told them, look, you have to deal with the sort of anxieties that people would feel being in those areas. And then, of course, the elephant in the room sometimes is people's behavior. So people's behaviors in terms of taking stuff from the facility, removing items. I hate to use the word steal, but removing items that they did not bring to the facility. And of course, behaviors even within our hotel isolation areas. Again, people were taking stuff. But I think a lot of that, since I made a plea to the public, has really changed and certainly has improved, which is good. And I hope that that continues to occur. So I think for me, those are the most challenging things. And then, of course, the death of one of our fellow healthcare workers certainly was a major challenge, because I think that plays with everybody's mind, knowing that you're right up there on the front line every day, talking to people who have COVID, understanding what your risks might be. But I think the staff became extremely comfortable over time from the initial admission of the first patient. And I think that for me was important. Their comfort. And I always tell the staff, I will not ask you to do something that I am not going to do, certainly as the isolation facility director manager.
Excellent leadership. We have a question from our audience, Dr. Forde, and we should be bringing up. Vaccines have been approved for those aged 12 to 15. What's Barbados' position? I don't know if you can speak to that.
Well, but this is the caller. I am, and if I can speak to it, I'm not going to speak to it. I am at this point not going to make any comments with regards to that, but to say that for those persons who are currently approved for vaccination, we are strongly advising you to be vaccinated. If this policy does change, then of course I will encourage the same within that population of individuals as well. And if I may take the opportunity to red flag the question on a little bit, is to say that in recent times, certainly right now in our secondary isolation area, we have a majority of people who are there between the ages of 15 and 40 years old. In fact, all of them are between that age group. This is a change in tide, and it almost reminds me of what's going on in India at this particular time. I think the young people in our community, and I make a call and a plea for you out there today on this particular call, and a genuine plea. Please be aware of the protocols. Please wear your mask. Some of the nefarious activity, for use of better words, that I saw over the weekend, certainly when people are given the opportunity to do stuff and get back to a sense of normalcy, certainly was very worrisome. And as I say that, I would say this on the other leg. I think no one on this call and no one who's listened to the sound of my voice today wants us to have another lockdown, including the central bank chief. And none of us want that. But I think if we're given the opportunity, if we're given more freedoms, certainly I think every single Barbadian needs to understand, as they're given those opportunities, you have an inherent responsibility to follow the protocols, which will prevent you from going into another lockdown. The Prime Minister always says, cut it out. Well, Dr. Forde says today, you got to cut it out and get back to a sense of normalcy in the country. But in doing that, we ask that, especially the younger population, parents to talk to their children, as the children go to school, for teachers to remind children to follow the protocols. I think this is going to be strategically important if we're going to cut the outbreak as we vaccinate, we continue to vaccinate throughout the community.
You mentioned India. We can look at our neighbor, Trinidad. They have had to institute measures to try to contain the outbreak there.
Yeah, and this is true, and I am in contact with some of my colleagues in Trinidad, and it's not a very pleasant scenario. I think Barbadians need not to look very far. India seems very far, but very close to us, there are challenges. We do not want, as a country, to go back into a lockdown. And I will tell I'm speaking specifically today, if you give me the opportunity, to our young people out there. I'm just seeing what the trends are to our young people. And I'm specifically speaking to you from the context of following the protocols. You don't want to go back into another lockdown, right? It has mental consequences. It has physical consequences, right? But more importantly, it has a breadwinning consequence. I'm not a politician, I don't deal with politics, but the obvious elephant in the room is if your mom and dad can't work because they're at home sitting, because practically they're in a lockdown because of something crazy you did. Think about that. Think about it. Does it make sense? It's not making any sense. As Barbadians would say, that not making sense. So if something doesn't make sense, then why are you doing it? So just follow the protocols. If you're getting a little bit of that, you get to go to the cinema, you get to play contact sports, just follow the protocols. They're simple things that you can do. I don't believe it will be like this forever, but certainly I think we're way off from where we would want to be in terms of Barbados. And as we open back up tourism, of course, one needs to be very careful. So I just wanted to tell, especially the young persons out there, do you think that you can get sick? Come and spend a day at Harson's Point, and then you will see differently.
Okay. We have a question, Dr. Forde. When and where can we get the first vaccines for those over 60 who are still waiting?
There are lots of vaccination questions. I'm responsible for the vaccination leg. I'm responsible for the isolation facility, but I will tell you on that particular aspect is the ministry's website will provide that information, and I'm sure the COVID hotline can provide that sort of information to you through different sites, etc. I'm very proud of our structure in terms of how we've done this outbreak, in terms of this vaccination component, despite challenges that one has seen along the way. And there will always be challenges. There's no country in the world who's gotten this perfect at all. Nobody knows all the answers. But I'm very proud of the way how we've gone about it, even in getting vaccines, when some countries who probably even have more than us have not even gotten any sort of place or way in their vaccination programs. So I think Barbadians certainly are proud people, but they also need to be very grateful and very thankful to God for where we are at this particular point.
So what should a person going into isolation expect? What happens when they arrive at Harrison's Point? What's the reception like? What happens when you go into isolation?
Expect nice stuff. That's what they should expect. But to be frank, people are brought certainly by different mechanisms to the facility. It's one of the things that I think, and I'm very straightforward, as most people know me. I think this area that we can improve in terms of how people are brought to the facility. But certainly on entrance, they're given a welcome by the nurses. They're escorted to their rooms. The doctors will see them. This is in the tertiary isolation. We'll see them, do an evaluation, and then they may be restructured according to if we find something of significance or if they have significant comorbidities. There are amenities there. As in any facility, we've been able, through the help of Corporate Barbados, and we still desperately need some help in some areas, but Corporate Barbados to put televisions in almost every room. I think there are only 7 rooms that we don't have televisions for thus far. Microwaves in every room, refrigerators in every room, and these sort of things that you might find in a hotel, but it's still a medical facility for people's comfort. We provide under laundry services, so they can do their own laundry. And these entities, and of course they can go outside. We usually take them around and show them on the outside. This is what you can do. You can go running on mornings. You have a little football path there, the picnic benches on the outside. And if you give me the opportunity to, one of the things that we are working on and trying to get some help with, certainly at this particular point, is getting a play park for the children on the outside. We recognize, like I told you, the population of individuals are in the younger age group, the Cajuns, and so we want to have those entities there where we put some swings, slides, and those sort of entities and some pathways for the kids. And we're actually thinking about working closely with BTMI and making a Serenity Garden, hopefully with some help from Corporate Barbados. But additionally, as I speak about that, I think as we open up for tourism and people might be there for tourism, we've gone far ahead in thinking. So over the last few weeks, apart from retraining our staff, again, for the whole facilities, retrained by infection control team, Mr. Rommel Jones and Ms. Kusha Gustavs, who are infection control persons at the isolation areas. Along with Ms. Martindale, Ms. Marsha Burton at QEH proper. we've made a special effort to try to look at the tourism aspect as we go into that season. And in that respect, we're hoping to work with the National Cultural Foundation of through Ms. Carol Roberts to do some nice photos, some nice Barbados emblems. And we've gotten some help from a guy who just called us and said, look, I have some old pictures of Harson's Point from back in the days of the US. He had some very old pictures and unique pictures that I think nobody else probably has. And he's volunteered to give them to us. So we're going to put them up around his surroundings so people can see the history, as they're even admitted, of the Harson's Point facility.
Wonderful.
But they'll also see Barbados. Yeah.
Wonderful partnerships with different entities. We have some questions. Are the survivors followed up by the isolation facilities or doctors?
Yeah, so we at Harson's Point on discharge, for the children, for example, the children are followed up by the pediatrics unit, and that's led by that particular division. The adults are sent to follow with their general practitioners. As you would imagine, there's something called long COVID, so people can have symptoms which are not related to spread of the disease over a period of time, and those symptoms, as you might imagine, might be different. They're not necessarily infectious disease related issues. So there might be neurological issues, there may be psychological issues, there may be I don't know, many different things that may occur, as you would read online. And they're followed with the general practitioner. I think it's important that if the general practitioners recognize that there is or paramount to one of these things, whether it be diabetes, even development, for example, that they refer to for appropriate specialties within the hospital system or specialist system. And I think that's the structure that has been used in many larger countries than us and some smaller countries than us, where specialties and areas of specialties are very unique and small. Mm-hmm. It will be a great difficulty for us to follow 3,000 patients back at Harson's Point facility. Yes. So that's what's being used internationally, and we follow that trend.
Excellent. I think we have another question. Have any vaccinated people contracted COVID and are at the facilities?
Okay, so that's $1 million question that everybody wants to know. The answer is nobody from Barbados who's been vaccinated, to my knowledge, as of 10/47, has gotten COVID after being vaccinated. But it's important for the public to understand this part, and I'm so glad that question.
Okay.
To get the myth away. People always have to be
can you, Dr. Forde, I'm going to ask you to restate that because your audio was breaking up at that point. So can you restate the important point that you wanted to make?
So the important point is, when a person is vaccinated, it does not, any vaccination, measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, pertussis, right? Anytime you're vaccinated, it does not stop you. This is a myth, from getting that disease. What it does is, if you get it, your body has seen it, so your body can respond appropriately to it. So it's not seeing it for the first time. And that's really how vaccines work. So you get a stick, your body's seen it already, it has the antibodies, has the various entities to fight it, so you don't get ill. But it doesn't mean you can't contract it. And this is for any vaccination. So there's this myth that is only for COVID-19 vaccine, and that's not true. Almost every other vaccine, if I come in contact with someone who has hepatitis B and I had my hepatitis B vaccine, I will get the infection, but I will take care of it so I don't get ill or the consequences of it and be able to fight it. And this is a very, very, very important point. Similarly, for persons who are vaccinated, you can get vaccinated, and we know the risk of transmission to other people is less, but it's not zero. So there's still that risk. So this is why it's important for everyone else to get vaccinated. So when you get vaccinated, you protect you. For most extent from getting ill. And there is some protection for the persons around you who are not vaccinated, but it's not complete. And this is why the trust and the focus must be on trying to get persons in the community who are more liable to get complications and end up by me at Harson's Point in our primary isolation or secondary isolation vaccinated at this particular point. I think this is a very, very, very important point that people often miss.
Do we have another question? How fast can a person deteriorate after the first signs?
This is just a great question. I almost felt as though that person is a physician, but that is there's a very varied answer to this. So it really depends on some of the strains which are out there. In our early state, early strains, certainly in day 5, day 6, when people get ill. Some of the new strains that are out there, certainly in South Africa, and even in India, people are. And I had a major international meeting a weekend ago. And in that meeting, it was quite obvious that people were getting ill, sometimes 2, 3 days into contraction of the disease, which was very unusual. We had a point in Barbados where I knew something was going on, and I did flag it on, and we did find out we had the B117 strain out of the UK. Was basically, look, people were getting ill a little bit later on. So when I was expecting people at times that people will go home, they were actually getting ill. And younger people were getting ill at that point. So it is really varied, but you can get ill certainly about 3 days in from the onset of symptoms onward. That's been really our trend. If I looked in Barbados, at this point, it's a bit longer, but that's seen more in some of the more virulent strains in other parts of the world. And the strains will not stop; they will continue until you get vaccinated.
We have one other question coming in. No. Okay. So it's not related to isolation facilities. Dr. Forde, how have you been changed by this experience?
I mean, I think I've been changed as in two respects. I think I have a greater respect for life. That sounds strange. My own life, having to deal with if a situation where if you make a mistake, they can put your life at risk, certainty your life at risk. I think it's brought me closer to my immediate family. Because I always talk about my sister, you hear me online, and my brother, Dwayne. I've never called his name before, my brother Dwayne, and my sister Nicole. I think I've grown really closer to them, and as well as my dad during this particular event. My mom is not here; she died, but I'm sure she'll be proud of where we would be in Barbados at this particular point. I'm certainly something I'm proud about. But I think that has changed that particular aspect. And the other thing it's done is to make me recognize how fragile as human beings we are, and how things can change in the whisk of a click of the finger. That everything that we knew as normal can change just with a simple virus. Going to church, for example, and singing and being happy. Going to the supermarket, going to school, driving your car on the road because you're in curfew and you can't go anywhere. Some of the nicer, simpler things in life one appreciates. From me growing my plants in my garden on the outside, something I never appreciated before, but now it's become an important entity for me. I'm spending time even with my animals, my dogs, my 5 dogs. These are things to me that I think that if we all on this call look back on, that we will have a totally different appreciation for, and you should have an appreciation for in the presence of this pandemic.
Dr. Forde, as we look to wind up the program, I want you to repeat that message for Barbadians, because I think it's critical. We're at a stage where the numbers, the cases are going down, and we might become a little complacent. I want you to reiterate the need to keep our guards up and to be responsible and vigilant.
And today, as I speak, I implore all Barbadians today as I speak to follow the protocols which are set. Wear your mask. Don't wear it, I beg you. Don't wear it on your chin. Don't wear it on, below the chin. Don't wear it on your mouth only. Wear the mask appropriately. Appropriate distancing is important. Use the hand hygiene stations which are available. I think, and I make a special plea today. And this is as a young man and the fight of a disease with many other young people who are putting their life on the line on a day-to-day basis. I want to tell all the young people out there, from the youngest, from 1-year-old all the way up, certainly to 40 years old, right? I want to specifically ask you today to please follow the protocols, to fall in line. Don't make the mistake that can affect you or your family. Don't make the mistake that can affect you or your family in terms of breadwinning, of people having to stay home, people not, having can't work because they're in lockdown, right? If you're going to avoid a lockdown again in this country, we as a country, and if you see something that's wrong, say, talk to that person, have that level of respect and say, don't forget your mask, put it on. Where you don't have your mask on, put it on properly. If you get in the vehicle, if you get in public transportation, if someone is not putting a mask, don't curse the person who's telling you to wear your mask. Understand why they're doing it. They're probably protecting you and your family, and they're protecting you in terms of the fact that if you don't put it on and there's another outbreak, you probably won't be traveling in another vehicle to go to work. So we have to understand that those things are important. So I really want to talk to the young people, talk to the adults, kids 11, 15 years old, talk about COVID, COVID retired.
Dr. Forde, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm terribly sorry about all of the technical challenges that we've experienced this morning. Thank you very much for your time and for your service to Barbados.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's the end of this edition of COVID Queries. There'll be no show tomorrow because of the live broadcast of the Business Barbados Media Conference tomorrow at 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. COVID Queries will return on Thursday. Our guest will be Melinda Bell, and we'll be discussing managing your money. So remember, the pandemic isn't over. Don't drop your guard. Stay safe. COVID Queries is brought to you by ICBL, always there when you need us most.